So look at this. Pfizer executives have discussed hiking the vaccine price after the pandemic wanes. They basically were caught saying that the pandemic is not going to end. It's going to turn endemic. And when it turns endemic, they're going to make a boatload of money off that vaccine that they made. That is what they were caught saying here. Let me just read you the story, and then we're going to go into the implications of this, because one big question I think many of us should have is, then what the hell is the vaccine? I mean, did you create it with the intention to end COVID, or did you create it with the intention to stall so that you could continue to make more and have it not really cure anything, but just kind of subside some things? And then, like, what is this? What are we doing here? So it says a top executive for Pfizer suggested to investors last week that pricing for its COVID-19 vaccine could increase post-pandemic. So not only are they excited that COVID is going to continue on and on and on forever. That's what endemic is, forever. It'll be here forever. But they're saying they're going to actually hike up the price of the vaccine. The suggestion raises questions about whether a drug developed at the behest of the federal government to respond to a global crisis could turn a profit for one company. The possibility was raised by Carter Lewis Gold, a senior analyst for biopharma equity research at Barclays, during a virtual global healthcare conference hosted by the bank. Gold, referencing comments made by Pfizer executives over the summer, asked how the pharmaceutical company still envisioned pursuing higher pricing as we move from a pandemic to an endemic phase, according to an edited transcript of the conversation. It says, quote, clearly got a lot of focus on the street, and in particular, some of your comments around the potential for higher pricing, Gold said of Pfizer's summer suggestion. I think one of the things that people point to is both the optics of that as well as some of their experience with the flu market. Now, this is absolutely different, but I was hoping you could maybe give us a little bit more depth on your thoughts here and around the potential to pursue higher pricing down the road. So what are you thinking about, pursuing higher prices down the road? Let's hear from you. So in response, Frank A. Diamolo, CFO and Executive VP of Global Supply for Pfizer, said the company anticipates a, quote, significant opportunity for its vaccine from, quote, a pricing perspective as we move, quote, from a pandemic situation to an endemic situation. He says, quote, so if you look at how current demand and current pricing is being driven, it's clearly not being driven by what I'll call normal market conditions, normal market forces. It's really being driven by kind of the pandemic state that we've been in and the needs of governments to really secure doses from the various vaccine suppliers, Diamolo explained. So what I believe, as we move from a pandemic state, from a pandemic situation to an endemic situation, normal market forces, normal market conditions will start to kick in. And factors like efficiency, booster ability, clinical utility will basically become very important. And we view that as, quite frankly, a significant opportunity for our vaccine from a demand perspective, from a pricing perspective, given the clinical profile of our vaccine, he said. So clearly more to come here. But we think as this shifts from pandemic to endemic, we think there's an opportunity here for us. So that is what the Pfizer executive said, and this raises a lot of questions. The first question is, did they ever really think they were going to be curing the disease? Or were they thinking that they were instead going to just continue, maybe they could mitigate the disease a little bit, and then they could then, rather than cure it, maybe they could have come up with a vaccine, maybe, and that would be the real scandal, right? If we found out that later on that all of these big pharma companies that we put so much trust into, we put so much trust into the big pharma companies, big mistake, by the way. Especially all of these anti-establishment progressives for years going after big pharma, saying that they were just all on the take and that they had bought off our government and it was all just a big racket. And then suddenly the pandemic hits and all of them are like, oh, save us, big pharma, save us, big pharma. And now here we go. This is why you could never trust them, because then they come out and say, well, you know what? Yeah, okay, it's a pandemic right now. And so, we're kind of at the behest of these governments. But once it turns into an endemic and it becomes like the flu, we can make money on this like the flu shot. And we can actually put a lot of money, raise up the prices, hike up the cost, because it's not about saving lives. This isn't about ending COVID. This is about opportunity. And so what they're seeing right here, what they're admitting is we got an opportunity with this virus and we're going to go and milk it. And it kind of makes you wonder, and we see this about many, many things. Why is there no cure for cancer? Right? We're able to do so many amazing, innovative things, and yet we don't have a cure for cancer. We also don't have, interestingly, a cure for AIDS. Somebody should ask, many of us are asking these questions, but somebody should ask these researchers and pharmaceutical companies directly. Congress really should be doing that, doing their job, but of course they don't. And they say, and they were instead propping these guys up, acting like, oh, our saviors, the big pharma companies, the big saviors of the day. Here they are. They're going to come up with a cure for COVID, and we're all going to have to take it. And we're going to have these vaccine passports as well, because if we want to get back to normal, we're going to have to get the jab, and we're all going to have to do it collectively. This is what we're still hearing in the media. And they basically promoted this nonstop, only to now find out that even the big pharma companies are saying, we don't think this is going to end. In fact, we kind of hope it doesn't, so that we can make a bunch of money off of it. We have no desire to cure it. They have no desire to cure AIDS. They have no desire to cure cancer. And they have no desire to cure COVID. And this is apparent. And anyone who thought otherwise, who thought for some reason Big Pharma was going to be the big savior of the day, unfortunately, I hope this is a bit of a smack in the face. That should have never been the plan ever with this, because we all should have known the writing was on the wall with these big pharma companies. They have shown us who they are time and time again. And suddenly you want to believe there's something different this time, because, but this time it's different because it's a bad virus that's killing a lot of people. And they're not acting any differently than they are with anything else that kills a lot of people. They see opportunity. They see dollar signs.